Hello, and this is Bev on Fabulously Functional, and I am making my very first vegan sweet potato pie prior to Thanksgiving. I wanted to be able to share this experience with you. So we're going to learn together. We're going to taste some different things together. So thank you for joining me, and I'm starting out with this beautiful vintage Sunbeam mixer that you can hardly hear, that was gifted to me by one of our church mothers. And I absolutely love this because I've never had a standing mixer. When I mentioned it, she said her mother had a standing mixer that she used all the time, and I absolutely love this standing mixer. But at any rate, so I have done a little bit already. I have roasted the sweet potatoes in the oven. Typically, in the past when I've made sweet potato pies, I've boiled them. But you pull out all the flavor and the nutrients. And also the caramelization that you get when you bake a sweet potato gives it more flavor. So I decided to bake these sweet potatoes. These sweet potatoes come from the capital or the city of sweet potatoes in Mississippi. They were gifted to me. And so these are just not any old sweet potatoes that I've roasted. So I roasted them until the aroma filled the house and they became very tender and just a little caramelization at the bottom. And then I let them cool. I peeled them and I put them in the food processor to make a smooth and beautiful mixture of these sweet potatoes. Okay, and so to this, I'm going to add some other ingredients that are going to go into this vegan sweet potato pie. I have doubled the recipe because it's on my menu this week. So I'm going to make 2 of these pies as opposed to 1. So I have approximately, instead of 2 cups of a sweet potato mix, which calls for 2 cups cooked sweet potatoes. I have probably about 4 cups cooked sweet potato. And I'm going to see here in just a minute by measuring it, just making sure. But I have pureed it in the food processor, and I'm going to now take it out of the food processor. And it's beautiful. It smells wonderful, and it's a beautiful color, a beautiful autumn color. So let's see. Let's see if I got 4 cups of this stuff. And look how smooth it is. I should have been putting my sweet potatoes in the food processor for my sweet potato pie. But, you know, you live and learn. So, okay, so that's 2 cups right there. This is 2 cups of sweet potato, pureed sweet potato. Cooked. Pureed sweet potato. So that's 1. That's 2 cups. And we need 2 more cups for this recipe. Put this back over here. And I told you, I think I got just about 2 cups here. Isn't that wonderful? I figured it. You know, by the size of the potatoes I had like 3 really big ones and 3 small ones. And I said, you know, this looks like it's going to be about a cup. And the truth of the matter is, I didn't lose any potato because I baked them. Usually when you boil the potato, you lose a lot of the potato. First of all, you lose a lot of nutrients in the potato. And then you also lose sweet potato. You also lose sweet potato when you try to peel them first and then cook them like you do white potatoes for mashed potatoes. So, I have just the right amount of sweet potatoes to make 2 beautiful pies. And I am thrilled. But I want you to see how smooth that texture is when you bake it and then puree it. Okay. Alright. So as I look back here on my screen at this recipe that I found, it's telling me I need the 2 cups of sweet potatoes. So I'm gonna set this over here. Okay, so the other thing that the recipe calls for, and what makes it vegan, is coconut cream as opposed to heavy cream or any other type of dairy cream. So this is coconut cream that I bought at the store. It comes in a can. Looks like this. It looks very, very whiter than your normal cream. So I need the recipe calls for 3/4 cup. So if we double that, that gives me a 1.5 cups of this coconut cream. And so I've rinsed out my little measuring cup here. And I got to make sure I've got a cup. Oh, 1.5 cups is about a full can. So 1.5 cups of coconut cream. I'm going to pour that in there. Then it calls for 3/4 cup of organic cane sugar. I don't want to use organic cane sugar. I want to use a different plant-based sugar, and so I have here coconut sugar, which is kind of likened to brown sugar. So I have coconut sugar. So instead of using 1.5 cups, which is, you know, what it turns out to be when I double the recipe, 1.5 cups of organic cane sugar, I'm going to use 3/4 cups of this coconut sugar, organic coconut sugar, and 3/4 cups of pure maple syrup. So here we go. It's 3/4 cup of coconut sugar. And look at that, I had just enough. I gotta buy me some more. Dr. Wood absolutely loves this on his oatmeal. Okay, and then I'm going to use the same measuring cup here. 3/4 cups of pure maple syrup. I'm trying to get the right measurement here. It's 2/3. There we go. There we go. 2/3. And then all the way to 3/4. Gonna pour that in there. 3/4 cup. So we've got our sugar covered in the sweet potato pie. It says 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. So I got my cornstarch over here. Because the recipe says 2 tablespoons, that means I'm going to use 4 tablespoons because I'm doubling my recipe because I'm making 2 sweet potato pies. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 tablespoons of the cornstarch. It says 1 teaspoon of vanilla, so we're going to do 2 teaspoons of vanilla. 1, 2. Alright, then it says a teaspoon of fresh ginger, grated. So I've already peeled the ginger. I have it here in my hand. I've got my grater right here. And so I'm going to grate some of this ginger right into the bowl right here. And it says a teaspoon. So I need 2 teaspoons of this fresh grated ginger. And what I may do is 1 teaspoon, just because it's a lot of work. for this fresh grated ginger. And then I'm going to do 1 teaspoon of already processed ginger. This ginger right here by McCormick. I'm telling you what, this ginger smells wonderful. And I just may take some of this and put it in some tea and steep me some tea this evening. Because ginger is one of those immune boosting things, which is why you see now a lot of turmeric ginger tea on the market. Okay, so that's about a teaspoon of fresh ginger. And now I'm going to do about a teaspoon of ground ginger. Okay, so this is 1/4 of a teaspoon. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so we got our ginger. Next we need nutmeg. I got my nutmeg right here. Calls for 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg, so I'm going to do an entire teaspoon of nutmeg. I'm telling you what, it's not sweet potato, nothing, if it don't have no nutmeg. Gotta have the nutmeg. One of the other things I put nutmeg in is my homemade from scratch cornbread. Just gives it a wonderful flavor, a wonderful sweetness. Also 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. So I've got me some organic cinnamon here. So that means I'm going to be adding a teaspoon of cinnamon, because I am doubling my recipe. And then a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, which means I'm going to be doing a teaspoon of salt. Of course, I use pink Himalayan salt. And this is a very fine salt. There's my pink Himalayan salt. And then that's all the ingredients that go into this mixture. And then after I mix this, then I'm going to place it inside a pie crust. So let's go ahead and begin to mix this. Looking for the tab that makes the arm come down. There it is. I thought I had it. Where did it go? It's been kind of hard for me to find. There it is. Okay. It's further forward than I thought. Alright, so here we go. And we're going to turn this on and let it begin to mix. It smells wonderful. As, of course, as it spins around, I'm going to be scraping the sides. The color is beautiful, and the aroma is even more beautiful. So I'm going to mix that really well. Just a beautiful color. I'm going to stick my little pinky down in here. Y'all, that is delicious. I think I've got a masterpiece here. Masterpiece vegan sweet potato pie. So while that's still spinning and blending itself very well, I want to show you something. I was debating on whether I was going to make a graham cracker crust for the sweet potato pie or a traditional crust. So when I was in Fresh Thyme, I found this ready to bake pie crust, double pie crust. No bleach flour, no artificial flavors, no artificial preservatives, no hydrogenated oils, non-GMO. And also, I believe it said it was, right, yeah, non-GMO. So I like the fact that, it's not your traditional enriched flour. So this is unbleached flour that's used, no artificial flavors, no preservatives, and no hydrogenated oils. So that takes it up a notch in the vegan world and in the healthier world of baking. So I'm going to stop this, speed it up just a little bit, make sure it's well blended. And then I'm going to turn it off. Right. Turn it off. I'm going to tap my spindles here. Make sure I get all of the goodies off. Okay. And I want to bring it up close to you so you can see the beautiful, smooth texture of this pie filling. Absolutely beautiful. So the next thing I'm going to do is roll out this pie crust in some whole grain white flour. I'm going to roll it out in that flour. Put it in the pie shells, and then we're going to fill the pies and get ready to bake them. So I'll be right back. All right, so I'm back, and I've got my flour here. I'm going to sprinkle it on the countertop here, and I've got these wonderful pie crust here already made, and all I got to do is just roll it out. Dust it in just a little bit of this flour, roll it out a little bit, and then place it in the pie pan. I'm going to do one. Let you see me do one. And again, this is with unbleached flour, non-hydrogenated oils, so it's a wonderful crust. So, got my little flat knife here. Going to roll this back over the rolling pin. Got my pie pan here. These are 9-inch crusts, but I got a 10-inch pan. So I spread my crust out just a little bit thinner so that I can, I think I got more filling than a 9-inch crust. So, all right, and so I've got that in here. Looks like I'm going to be taking some of this off the edge right here. And I'm going to place it over here on this edge, because this edge is a little shorter. And then I'm going to do the same thing right here. cut a little bit off of this edge and add over here to this edge. Like so, like that. Okay. And then I'm going to go around the edges and make my little crimps. I call them my little 2-finger crimps. All the way around. Already got my oven preheated to 375. Okay, so pie crust is in the pan, ready to be filled. I did my little crimps around the edges there. See that? You can see the edges. I call them the 2-finger crimps. So I got that. And now I'm going to add half of this filling to this crust because I have another pie pan and another crust that I need to do. So let me get a spoon here. Just scoop up this filling. I need half of it. Half of this bowl. It looks just heavenly. I may have to do a smaller pie pan, because this one looks like it's going to get filled up here. It's going to take a little more filling than I anticipated. Looks absolutely wonderful. Okay, and I got my rubber spatula here. I'm just going to smooth this out with. This smells heavenly. And it looks the same way. So I'm going to shake that down in there. And there we have it. It's all in the crust, ready to go. And so now, I'm going to get ready and do my second pie. And then we're going to pop them in the oven. One of the things that I do so that my crust doesn't brown too much is I cut out foil circles. I trace the pie pans, the diameter, then I leave about an inch around the edge. Then I cut out a center circle so I can have this round piece. And so for the first 40 minutes, I bake this in 375-degree oven. I have the foil on. And for the last 20 minutes, then I take the foil off. So I've already cut the circle of the foil. Just going to lay it right on top of that crust edge and just kind of fold it down gently around the edges so that my crust won't become too brown, but it'll be perfect around the edges. So there we have it. It's ready to go into the oven. Okay, so hold your mute and I will be right back. Okay, so I have finally baked the sweet potato pies. I put the foil over top just like I've showed you. Baked them in 375 degree oven for 40 minutes. 20 minutes with the foil, and the other half you take the foil off so that the crust can brown. I must confess though, I left the foil on the entire time almost, except for the last 5 minutes. And then I took the foil off. So I have one in a aluminum pan and then one in a Pyrex dish. I'll show you the finished product of these beautiful sweet potato pies. Vegan sweet potato pies. Beautiful in color, and they look wonderful in texture. It suggests that I do not cut them until they completely cool. So I'll have to come back on another time and taste these pies in front of you, slice them, and then eat them. So you can see me taste, and you can see the expression on my face after I eat these pies. So just another look at them. And you can see the Pyrex dish, the crust is just a little bit browner than it is in the aluminum pan. So thank you for joining me in making my first vegan sweet potato pies, and I'll have to come back on later, probably on my Facebook page, Bev's Midday Cafe, to taste these wonderful pies. Thank you and God bless. Bye-bye.